Welcome back to another RSMF video. In this video, we're talking about common mistakes people make when using Message Crawler. Let's get started. Message Crawler is an application that I've created to convert a DAT file, which you see on the screen, to convert that to RSMF file format. And the first mistake people make is they think they can just open a DAT file, press generate export, and they will be done, which is not true. There are a few things you have to do before you just hit the export button. The first thing you should do is watch my video on how to use Message Crawler. I have a video where I take people step by step into loading that file, configuring fields, and generating the export. It is very important that you do that because there's some considerations as far as field mappings, what kind of data you're putting into it. It's just not able to take any data you throw it and convert it to quality RSMF file. If you put bad data in, you're going to get bad data out. It's not going to be able to clean that up for you. So you need to watch that video about how to actually use the software. Next thing you should do is read RSMF documentation. It is a complicated file format. Just like when you started in Lit Support, you had to learn about DAT files, you had to learn about different, LFP files, GIF files. Well, this is even more complicated than that. And there's certain data that you're going to put in here, and some will work better than others. You may need to clean certain things up. So you need to be familiar with the file format. Think of it as you are generating load file for a client and they gave you this website to read about it. Well, you need to be familiar with kind of message types, right? Let's say you have a message disclaimer join. Do you have your what was I looking for? Let's say your conversation, is it direct communication, is it channel communication? There is no way for Message Crawler to know what kind of platform it's using and so on. You have to know about different options and you need to configure them. So which is right here, is it SMS communication, is it direct communication, is it channel communication? So you need to know about all these things. You need to know what fields need to be supplied. You need to map these fields appropriately inside the Message Crawler. And then you'll be able to get good quality RSMF files that you'll be able to load to Relativity and use for review. Now, the next mistake people make is trying to process too much data per one RSMF file. And this is what people do, is they open giant file, either they download Slack or they open a DAT file, and then they just dump out like 50,000 messages into one RSMF file, and then they say, oh, it doesn't work. Well, the reason it doesn't work is because in Relativity documentation, it actually does say that the maximum limit is 10,000 messages per file. And that's a soft limit. You could put more, but you may have workflow issues. Things may take a long time to load. And there is no way for Message Crawler to know how many files per RSMF file you actually want. So you need to make these decisions. And the way you make these decisions is by using this conversation identifier field. This is what determines how to chop up your messages and how many messages per RSMF file to use. So next thing we want to talk about is conversion. And when we converting data from Slack and the new feature coming out, Google Hangouts, when we convert data from one format to another, conversion is not 100%. There's so much extra data into these Slack files and Google Hangouts. You can't just take every single piece of metadata and put it RSMF because the file formats are not compatible. It's like you're trying to convert from NSF to a PST, right? It's just not possible. You can get the most of it. You can get the messages, body, subject from to CC, but there's so much extra stuff going on that just doesn't make it over. So same thing happens here when you import Google Hangout. All the most meaningful stuff makes it over, and some extra stuff that's proprietary to Google does not. Is that a problem? No, it'll convert just fine, but there might be extra metadata that doesn't make it over. Plus, file formats change all the time. So if, let's say, Google Hangouts changes their file format, there's some new field that shows up that you think would be useful to you, you can let me know and I can look into adding support for that. And finally, please don't think of message crawler as one-click conversion solution to RSMF. It is not. It is a program that helps you take your data and convert it to another data format, which is RSMF, and the tool will help you through that conversion process. It will help you map the fields. It will help you manipulate some of the fields like format dates and so on, generate conversations, massage the data. But it is not something that you're just going to open, click a button, and you'll be done. You need to be aware of what you actually putting into the tool. So with that in mind, those are my most common mistakes that I see people make with my application. Thank you for checking it out. I will see you in the next video.